Heroes of Might and Magic Olden Era has got a public demo you can check out right now, but before you dive into the magic of its old school charm, I thought I could share some handy tips, additional info that I felt maybe the game didn't quite explain that well, especially what I think could make your experience of playing Olden Era a whole lot better. First off, a recommendation: don't skip the tutorials. There is a two-part tutorial campaign. If you're a Heroes of Might and Magic veteran or familiar with these games, it may seem pretty basic, and yes it is. I believe it's called the basic tutorial. But if you complete it, you will unlock a bunch of side missions or challenge missions that will teach you more advanced stuff. Stuff that is useful for a newbie and for the regular home players just to practice beating some of these missions. These are pretty challenging though, so if you're new and can't win these missions, don't sweat it. It doesn't matter, because the information you gather from them, you are learning the strategy and tactics, and that's what matters. So play them regardless. Learn the tactics and strategy from these missions, when to use some of the options you have in battle and on the map. Very useful info here that you would have missed if you skipped the tutorials. Now, one thing that at first was a bit of a challenge for my old man eyes was that there's a lot of stuff in the game world and the visuals are quite striking. I mean, perhaps a bit too striking. Some things that aren't interactable look like I should be able to go to them. Yeah, I was clicking on just the environmental props. If this is frustrating you, let me introduce you to the power of the Alt key. When you have the Alt key pressed, it highlights all the map objects you can interact with. Makes life easier. Now, the Alt key also has another cool feature on the game world. If you have the Alt key pressed and click on the ground, it shows you the movement points you will use and how much will remain if you moved. This might seem like a geeky, nerdy thing you folks obsessed with numbers would love, but no, there's more to it. Using this, it takes the guesswork from finding out which map object you want to get to is nearest. It's a lot more accurate. You could have a way more efficient start figuring out the nearest and most useful objects to go to. And speaking of cool facts, for those of you new to this series, yes, moving on roads and paths use less movement points, and you can compare how much it takes slightly more movement points to move diagonally versus horizontally. Yes, this is a very home thing. What I mean is left, right, up and down uses less than moving northeast, northwest, etc. The Alt key also works in battles as well, but I think it's less useful here. But just explaining to you what the Alt key does: when a stack gets damaged, you'll see what the original stack size was when you press the Alt key. It's not really important info, but what's really important in battle is don't forget to use your heroic strike. So you see, just like in Heroes of Might and Magic 5, your heroes can attack in Olden Era, but there's this focus mechanic, this bar here that fills up when you do damage and take damage. So heroes will only be able to attack once this fills up. There are two pips here, so you can hoard heroic strikes if you want to, but no more than 2. It's not the most powerful attack, it's all standard 40 damage plus a bonus that increases with the level your hero is at. Great for killing a stack that's closer to death, so it makes your armies fight a bit more effectively. Something the tutorial doesn't quite get into is the importance of wait and skip. And what is the difference between them? This is demonstrated quite well in the side mission after the tutorial, where you need to beat 2 stacks of hive queens. This unit here has the highest initiative and starts the turn, but you don't want it to be hit with a counter attack. So basically, a counter attack is something all units in the game gets only once in a turn when they get hit by an enemy. So here I hit the W key, or you can hit this button here to wait. That moves that unit to the back of the queue for that turn. If you hit D, which is skip turn, that moves the unit to the next turn. So if I wait, I'll be able to use my heaviest hitter later in that turn to attack the enemy once the enemies have already used up its counter attacks attacking at my cheaper cannon fodder unit. This is a key strategy here in Heroes of Might and Magic battles, so learn to use this well. Which also means you need to understand the strength of your units, but that's going to take a lot of time. You can right click on each unit and sort of read up about their stats and stuff. So you get to learn which one is the fragile unit and which one is the tank. Oh, and something very basic here in case if you are extremely newbie, like the numbers it shows below those units are not the health bar, it's the number of units in that stack. So if there is like 10 units of like something with 15 health, which means that's 15 times 10 for the complete health of the entire stack, and the damage they make is also times by the number of units they have. It's complicated. So the bigger the stack, the bigger the health and the bigger the damage they do. Okay, that's something that you have to understand. And if you split stack up, they are also going to do less damage. So that's something to take into mind. By the way, this handy red glow above the unit count here indicates that the unit still has a counter attack. So you don't need to actually memorize which unit has already used up their counter attack, thankfully. Finally, I just want to explain all these tiny buttons here when you are in a city or in the army screen, when you're controlling how you want to divide up your army and stuff. This icon here, you click this once and click on an empty unit slot to split your units. This weighing scale symbol divides a unit by half. The all direction arrow is to move them, but you can just click and drag units, so that's really irrelevant. And this icon here with the number 1 allows you to create the 1 stack units. Very useful advanced tactic when you want to take out a more powerful foe. It's a more complex topic, perhaps I shall do a video just focusing on this 1 stack strategy. But as I said, there is a side mission focus on the 1 stack tactic, so you could try that out to get good at it. And of course there's also this thing here, don't click on it, that's disband, don't click on that. And that's it. These are some things I hope will give you a leg up in your playthrough of the Heroes of Might and Magic Olden Era demo. I hope you have fun discovering the tiny strategies and tactics to use in the game, because I'm just skimming the surface here. Anyway, do share if you have your own strategies you use in the demo. What's your favorite thing about the game? Share with us in the comments. Thanks for watching and farewell, noble friends.